A new movie, the third in the Star Wars series, opens on Wednesday, and it is clear the audience will not be your ordinary mom and pop and the kids.
It won't open for 2 more days, but already the lines are down the block.
You meet a lot of weird people out here?
None weirder than us.
These are the 50-odd, emphasis on odd, men and women who've camped outside a Hollywood theater, some for the past 6 days and nights. Jedi will be opening in more than 950 theaters nationwide. This one happens to be on Hollywood Boulevard, an unsavory part of Los Angeles. But even in this high-crime area, the fans of Jedi have triumphed over the forces of darkness. This morning, the Jedi faithful dedicated a makeshift star in honor of Star Wars creator George Lucas. Judd Rose, ABC News, Hollywood.
You are unwise to lower your defenses.
There is no way of knowing when the dark side may rise up again. During the hours of darkness, the
You're watching Star Wars Day with Bobs.
The Force is back. The rebels won't tire till they see the last of the Empire. And Kenner's there with Star Wars Return of the Jedi Collection.
The next prisoner, Gamorrean guard. Gladly, Jabba the Hutt.
C-3PO, Gamorrean guard, and Jabba the Hutt playset each sold separately.
Mr. Hutt, you've captured my friend. Free him and keep me instead. That's a sorry tale, but this tale make you sorrier.
Jabba the Hutt playset and other action figures each sold separately from Star Wars Return of the Jedi Collection from Kenner.
Oh, wow. It was in 1977, living in Omaha, Nebraska. My father is transitioning out of the Air Force to civilian life, and so I didn't see him much. So one night he comes home and says, I've been doing really good in school, and if he gets released early the next day, he has something special planned. So I'm anticipating all day long. The bell rings. I am the first kid out the door, and there's my dad, and we're in the car, we're driving around, and I'm like, where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? And my dad's like, it's okay. Just calm down. And I'm 6 years old at this time. So we pull in like this big commerce center, and there's a marquee, and it says Star Wars. And this little 6-year-old is just like, ooh. So we get a little popcorn, a little something to drink, and we go sit down. And this is back in the day when there was an actual curtain. So when the movie's ready to start, a big curtain comes up. And a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, first note hits, and this kid's jaw is on the floor for the next 2 hours. And I will never forget that day, because May 25th is also my mom's birthday, and she's a little salty about that day because my dad took me to the movies instead of spending time with her.
Now, it's here. The excitement, the adventure of a new force at breakfast.
We'll call them C-3POs.
New C-3PO cereal from Kellogg's. Twin rings, days together. For 2 crunches in every double O. A delicious part of this nutritious breakfast. Now you can experience the taste of Kellogg's C-3POs. A crunchy new force at breakfast.
May the force be with you.
Return of the Jedi. The Rancor monster has trapped Luke Skywalker. Can he escape the Rancor's claws as the Rancor Keeper and Gamorrean Guard look on? Luke's only chance is a stake in the monster's jaw. Will he succeed or fall victim? Only you can decide with Star Wars toys. Return of the Jedi. When you make friends with an Ewok, you're making the best friend in the universe. He'll help you through the bad times and lead you to the good. There's Wicked W. Warwick, bravest of all the Ewoks, and Princess Nisa, the cuddliest in the Empire. But make sure they're not caught off guard. Who knows when the evil empire will return? Only you can decide with Star Wars toys.
Greetings and salutations, folks. I know it's a long one, but oh, man, it's been a long day in some ways. I feel like it just started in others. Here we are, the 40th anniversary, Return of the Jedi. Just makes today, this Star Wars Day, that much more special. What a great panel we're going to have for you. So awesome. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. Arwyn, Avalon, how's it going, lady? What's today like been for you?
Hey, Pops, today has been good. And, you know, watching that intro, they made those toys look so good. You just want to play with them.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is just those incredible Star Wars commercials. That was fantastic. That was a great intro. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
Jester's Arlena. Let's rock some Star Wars Day. How are you doing? What's going on?
Oh, yeah. I'm good. Not much, you know. I popped into your channel. No pun intended. Popped in.
Hey, listen, I'll take the puns. The puns are meant to be there. It's meant to be
Oh
there.
my gosh.
All of the emojis all of the emojis for the members are plays on the word pops, right? So the very first one is a Funko Pop, then it's Cool Pops and Corn Pops, and so we're all the puns are not a problem here.
So because I was at work, I popped in when I could and just would leave a like and watched what I could, and it's been great. It has just been a very nostalgia-filled day for me.
Well, I think this is the consensus. That's what I was shooting for. I wanted to ramp everybody up. I wanted to give everybody a little dose of like how much fun we can have. Like, we can't even scratch the surface. I'm perfectly honest. Like as we were doing different streams or conversations and chat and whatever, I keep thinking about, well, we didn't talk about the radio show. We didn't talk about the album. We didn't talk about, the Muppet Show. We didn't talk about this. So it's like the IP is so massive in its footprint that there's really no reason to get caught up with all the negativity. And also we can talk about things and we can be honest about our likes or issues with something, but we also don't need to allow it to consume us and derail us and make us, get bitter or jaded or anything like that. So
can I actually say something on that? Because I've been thinking about this all day. And I'm not getting negative, but you'll understand why I'm going where I'm going. I can say I love Star Wars like anyone else. I grew up with it. It's in the fabric of my life, literally. But I've always been, what we call a normie. I enjoyed it, but not, unlike my brother, he had all the sheets, all the toys, all the book binders, all the lunch boxes, all the posters. I mean, he just lived Star Wars for years. That was like his deep, deep dive. And I was always pretty much a normie, even though I appreciated it. But before before they decided to kind of tank the IP, and if it hadn't been for that, and meeting a lot of people in this community who are what I call deep divers, like, Arlena and Daryl and y'all are deep, deep divers into this world. If it hadn't been for that, though, it wouldn't have made me stop and go, wait a minute. I'm in love with this series. This series is worth protecting. This series is worth honoring. And it made me it kind of tipped me over from a normie. I'm starting to be kind of a waiter now. I'm wanting to see more of the worlds. I'm wanting to learn more about the people in this lore. I'm wanting to learn more about just Han, Luke, and Leia. I really want to deep dive and talking to Arlena about it. And, we've watched the shows, but I have to say, if it hadn't been for that, I don't know that I would ever appreciate it like I'm starting to really, really appreciate it. And I've thought about that all day, seeing clips here and there. And I'm like, yeah, this really is a day for nostalgia and protecting what we love and honoring that.
Yeah. And I think it was, you were talking earlier, like you want to play with these action figures and these toys or whatever. And I'm like, it took people back to that feeling like, yeah, you know what? That would be, that was a cool thing. And like Croy's video on the holiday special to me is like a gold mine of like a reality check. Like, we're told how bad the holiday special is and it's this and this, But as we were unpacking it together, we were like, man, it's just a child of its time. It is what it is, and here is why. And we started breaking it down, and then of course we derail into the Sears toy catalog section, and by God, it's freaking it's like nerd gold. I want to go back and rewatch it, and it's because Troy is just like, yeah, I sent my parents on a rabbit hunt to look for the blue snaggletooth, and little did they know it was not even going to be available at Toys R Us or Kmart. It was only available through the Sears. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. We didn't know. We're children. We didn't know.
Right.
Chris did a very important question. We have to stop everything. Did the brother have the Star Wars Trapper Keeper?
Yes, he did.
There you go.
Yes, he did. He had I am not kidding. He became Luke Skywalker there for a while. He did his very best to embody him in his life, and it was just, the only action figures I personally had were Leia and Chewbacca. Those were my two. He had all of them. He had all the ships. He had everything. He had everything.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, for years.
I want to take a pause because DJ Ronnie G, I got your alert. Thank you so much for becoming a member. With that, I do want to take a pause because I went just to check because I knew that had happened. I didn't know what to do because I didn't get an alert, but it looks like someone probably paid or donated a bunch of memberships. Because I have a whole bunch of people that are new or been one-upped or whatever, but however it worked out, whether you paid for it or it was donated for you or whatever, thank you. Project Cambrian, Morning Haze, Robert Laurie, Angry Canadian, Larry, Dempsey, Nosferatu, DJ Ronnie G, Claude, Dawn of Mutilation, Jana, Catania, and Tim Hayes, all are like re-upped or joined for the first time, whatever. And man, it means a lot to me. It's so cool to see this become like this family, just deeper and wider kind of thing. Is how I always feel, and that's why you ladies were at the top of the list of let's do this Jedi thing. It's just going to be great. And speaking of family. Talk about a lady that's had my back today. Oh my goodness. Magitek Mags, how are you doing?
Hey y'all, I'm good. How's everybody? I'm ready to talk about Return of the Jedi is my favorite movie.
I know.
Nice.
So I purposely had the Ewok commercial in there for you. So
yes, I love them.
See it. Yes. I'm like, I showed it earlier. Max is like, I have that one on the left.
He's a little smushed face from being packed probably like 2 or 3, 4 times or whatever. But...
Well, you were not late. You were right on time. Of course, we are now just saying hello to everybody. Whitechapel is here. Let's see. Pat S, of course, running stuff. Man, thank you so much, Pat, for all your help today, doing stuff. They're throwing things out there. Appreciate you. Angry Canadian as well. My gosh, these folks make this happen. Chris Persia, of course. Can't even imagine doing this without you, brother. Arlena, of course, is comment. Gap, hey, brother, hope you continue to get on the mend, man. Loved having you around doing some stuff, man. Just keep in touch. Let's do this, man. Let's see. Everybody saying hello to everybody. Always backs and forth. Make sure I don't miss anything important. Pat S is teasing Arwyn about playing with her toys. It's totally fine.
Oh gosh,
a little late for that.
Yeah, pun. Yeah, it was double entendre was intended. It's okay. You guys at home will be fine. Just because I'm Pops doesn't mean I can't tease. And Arlena's talking about apathy. I just here for the hot chick.
That's Jester.
Oh, that's Jester. You guys
that's
and your
my
names.
Jester.
We need to switch the names to be Jester of Sin, who belongs to. I mean, we need to switch it around. It's too much. This
No,
use of
whoever's
English
name
is
you
too.
see first, it's the other person.
Jester, my apologies, Jester, brother. Please don't hold it against me. I'm too old to keep it straight. It's just too much.
We do that.
Yeah, deep nostalgia today, Whitechapel. Whitechapel's been everywhere today too, Mags.
Yeah.
And it's just been a blast and hanging out.
I've seen him in chats.
Yeah. With a name from the past, Kmart. Oh, as we all know, Sears had the best. Sears was the selection. Kmart and all that was secondhand. I mean, this all came after the fact. It was your Sears catalog because there was no ad at a Kmart. We had Zare and Airway and all these different department stores. Pre-Walmart. All this is pre-Walmart.
Oh, I remember Zares.
Oh
my,
yeah.
Ames. Oh my gosh.
Airway, Zare, all that stuff. But they didn't have they didn't have like a checklist. They didn't have anything to go on. It was the Sears catalog. That was your go-to back then.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Trapper Keeper is definitely old school. Yes.
I had the lunchbox.
Yeah. Yes. Well, the lunchboxes,
with the
man.
thermos.
Especially the thermos. Oh, the thermos.
Yes.
Hills was on that list. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Snorty's here. Awesome, brother. Confession time. There you go. Chris Persia. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate it. And thanks to all these people. And you know what? You guys hit me up on what kind of member content you want. What could I do differently or more of? You guys let me know. Lord Thoth is here. Hey there. What's going on?
LT.
Kenny Baker wasn't supposed to be wicked, but food poisoning got last second and they found Warwick Davis. Oh, yeah. I remember that story. Yeah. Chat is going bonkers, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The estrogen theme. Yes. I think whenever she was referring to the hot chick, she might have been, who are you guys to judge?
That
Who
was
are you guys
Jester.
to judge?
That was Jester.
We're pop angels, y'all.
Pops angels. We joked about having that picture. We just didn't do it yet. Daryl's going to come up here and even things out in a minute. I bet you. So Empire, Jedi, the two favorite characters, the OG Fett. Yeah, OG Fett. Oh, yeah. So.
Wait, if Pops is our Charlie, then that would make Daryl our Bosley.
Daryl gets to be Bosley.
I don't want to be mean, but does anyone else think that fits? Because it kind of fits. I don't want to be mean to Daryl by making him Tom Bosley.
No, but you're our Charlie and he'd be our Bosley. It just kind of works.
It does.
Oh
my
just saying.
God.
Just saying. So at some point we will come up with a strategy. We have a plan of action. We'll see how it plays out because I did stumble across something. Mags wasn't here to see this, so we will give away these both tonight.
Yes.
I found them. I have 2 sealed original Return of the Jedi wax pack cards. We'll give them both away.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome.
Those look great. Oh my gosh.
Don't they though? I'm like geeking out over that.
So I will give them both away. I will open the Lando one and show off all the cards, give everybody the full experience. And then this stream will end very sharply at 7:30 p.m. for Pops to take care of life for a moment. And then hop right back on another stream where I will chew that gum. I will Padawannabe challenge that baby.
Oh, here we go.
With you on
People
the next
get ready for clips.
Nice.
So and yeah, somebody didn't know about the Padawannabe challenge. So yeah, there's a link out there. You guys can go to a whole playlist of some of that stuff. So yeah, these folks, it just keeps going. And sometimes I wonder why. Like, what are we doing wrong in the world where we old people like us, I will subject myself to, hey, hasn't killed me yet. Maybe that's why I keep carrying on. So
it's an
Lord Thoth just wants the gum. Lord Thoth just wants the gum. That's so funny.
Gum, you see?
That's a boss move right there. I just
Oh
want the
my.
gum.
Challenge
accepted. Ooh.
Oh Lord.
Arlena kind of said she'd do it.
Yeah, I
So-
said I would do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did.
So
She
it's
did.
out there.
Yeah,
we
I
don't.
have
It's not.
packed.
It's not today. Yeah, it doesn't have to be today. We will definitely do that. I'll either go on VacTube and we'll do it, and I'll clip it, or you can come on here and we'll do it. We'll figure it out. And it is crunchy. If you haven't seen the clips, Netters is possibly I don't know why it's different texture, but Netters, my goodness, it has to have been. You can hear it crunching like it's. Netters is nuts. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's still at Arlena. Yeah. No, she did not drink the milk, but it's okay. It was kind of like a free range to what she could handle at the time. So
I forgot the milk. Didn't have any.
But Return of the Jedi, 40 years. It hurts me to even admit it that it's been 40 years. I will actually be honest. I'm shocked at how many people. This was their first film. This was their first film in theaters. Like, oh my gosh, such a big deal. So,
this was the first time I remember.
Okay, first time you saw it in theaters or saw it at all. What do you think, Max? Was first time for you?
Well, definitely. I was born in the late 80s, so I had no opportunities to see these things in theaters. But I would see it on when you were talking about the THX box set VHS. This is pre-special editions. That's when I first saw it, and my brothers always loved Empire Strikes Back, which I will say, yes, Empire Strikes Back is objectively the best film out of all of them. But personally, my favorite is the Return of the Jedi, and maybe because it ends on a hopeful note, maybe that's what it is. But there's so much to it where it's like the end of Luke's hero's journey, confronting his father, and choosing in such a way to turn the other cheek, which is something unheard of when you think about it. Usually you think of the hero fighting to the last, and he does, but he does it in a different way by giving the opportunity to his father to wake up. And what a different way or different concept to be able to talk about the hero's journey. So, and Luke has always been my favorite character of the OG. Surprise, guys! I, as a woman, like a male character. I don't
Shocker.
Shocker.
Yes, I know.
And
so I don't think it's a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take, Max. I think we can say Empire Strikes Back is probably the best film, and Return of the Jedi is probably the most fun.
Yes.
Like it's okay to kind of define it that way. And the argument would be people that maybe like prefer New Hope over Jedi as far as being more fun or something like that. Or Etep was saying earlier, like he just loves Empire so much. He has no problem because he loves the Empire part. He like leans into the dark side character so much more that he really does enjoy rewatching Empire that much. I think having all of that is sort of a precursor of how to evaluate the original trilogy, or it's I mean, oh, that's fine. I don't even think there's anything there to really debate much. It's just it's like degrees of love. It's like degrees,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And really for me, even though there's some negatives to Return of the Jedi, I don't know. It's like I can suspend my disbelief with it because it's such a great trilogy in general. And I think it's a good way to end it.
Well, I will go to task with Matt, a common idiot. He'll be my co-host on the stream after this because he did a stream and they entertained all of the problems with Return of the Jedi and this horrible article that was written by Chris Gore. And if I ever get Chris Gore in my chat or in my show, I will definitely take him to task because it's somehow a lot of the problems with Return of the Jedi is people who don't have context of when it was released, like bagging on it because some of the effects and bagging on like, okay, hold on a minute. In 1982, when this thing is made, this is and we lose sight that Lucasfilm is still an independent company. These people are paying for it themselves. There was no Pixar yet. There was no James Cameron T2 yet. That's like we've lost
cutting edge.
Oh yeah.
It was that the speeder bike scene was phenomenal. It knocked your socks off. Holy cow! And then the Ewok thing. The Ewok thing is so stupid. He originally wanted Wookiees and it become a half the budget, half the size joke, and this is what we had to go with, guys. So we couldn't do Wookiees. This is what we could do. And it was like, oh, at the time we got it. And now it's like people want to hold it over him like he somehow sold out to sell plushies. I'm like, that's not the story. That's some that's some retcon nonsense.
I'm one of the ones I wanted the Wookiees. When I heard that story originally, I was like, oh my gosh. But think about it. Okay. Think about what a Wookiee is. And how big Wookiees are and how strong they are.
Yeah.
They would not have been as skittish and standoffish and spookish as the little Ewoks. So they would have just taken care of what was there. I think it would have been a lot shorter movie. I'll just put it that way.
He does the story up as a writer. Why would the Empire be able to put that shield generator on the Wookiee planet? There would have been war. That would have been. It would have been the Empire would not have done that. That makes no sense.
Would have been exactly. The Wookiees would have been like, "Oh no, sir, I don't think so." So yeah, like I said, short, very very short movie. So he had to go with something logistically that could span out the story. And the Ewok, and I have a love-hate relationship with the Ewoks, which is better than it used to be because it used to be just a hate relationship with the Ewoks. I'm like, no, ooh, my God, y'all are so dumb. But now I appreciate their goofiness. I appreciate and y'all, they're dark. They eat people. That is kind of dark. So they're a little more complex than when I first saw them. When they first came
you
out.
got people on a spick, man. They're like ready to like roast Han and Leia, man. It's a barbecue, man. We're ready to like rock on. So Nos is giving me some love because I got the ladies. Listen, it's Pops and the Angels. Nos, you try to keep up. We've been over this. Watch our Carol Burnett stream, which is possibly one of the most fun just it is phenomenal. What a grand time we had that night. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Jacob Ironside, yes, I know you have a Batman pack. I didn't know you'd go on camera and do it. Bro, I will hold you to that. We will definitely figure that out. Let's do it. And we can just, if I get you for the Padawan challenge, I'm not going to keep you and use it for other stuff too. We're going to talk a movie. We're going to talk something. Absolutely. So that's great. Lord Thoth, that's just wrong, man. How can you tease my inner Pops reaction video taste? So maybe tomorrow morning I will dive into the I watch it, cringe, watch me face palm. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I know Revenge of the Jedi. Listen, man, that red poster, the Revenge of the Jedi red poster, holy crap, is it a beautiful piece of art. Oh my gosh. Star Wars is always a favorite. You too? Yeah. Okay. You can have your take. I disagree with the last part of that, but it's okay. Drive-in Lord Thoth. Yes. Awesome. Pouring Rain. Oh, wow. Holy cow. Yeah. He used the Obi-Wan's tactic. He used love to reach out to Father to redeem him. Yeah. So, and a experience for me. Got it. So, yeah, a lot of Ewoks is the issue with it. Okay.
Well, there's more to them than meets the
To be fair,
yeah, though they're really
and to be fair, as it's been said many times, Lucas made these movies for 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, whatever.
Yes.
And I was younger, but I freaking loved the Ewoks because I was a little girl. I wanted everything Ewok because they were the cutest things ever to me. I don't like them now because I'm older and I see how silly they were. But I was a little girl and I freaking loved them. I had the Ewok village. I had anything Ewok I could get my hands on, I would have it.
Yeah.
I don't remember everything that I had because it was
Max
so
has
much.
it. There it
Yes.
Oh, see.
Max still has it. I didn't forget.
Yes.
Oh,
so awesome, Max.
So cute.
Yep. I was like, well, I need to make sure I grab this and show it. And I was like right on time with Arlena talking about Ewoks.
Perfect.
Like, I wonder.
Yeah.
Do they even have like the names of these? It just says Kenner on it.
Yeah, they don't really have their character names.
Oh yeah, here we go. 1983.
Oh yeah, it's an authentic one.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So it's authentic. He's a little smushed, so in the Fergie
He still looks so cute.
Yes. So there you go. There's the Ewoks, y'all.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I don't like them like I used to, but I was a little girl, so it was to be expected because this stuff was aimed for kids.
Yep.
So yeah, they were stinking cute as could be.
Nos. I'm ready, man. You know what? I'm gonna do that, Nos. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a
wow.
The real story is about what I listen. I will take that challenge all the way to the bank. Absolutely. Original Revenge of the Jedi poster. Yes, from the fan club. Yeah, there was the poster and the figures and stuff are just like gold. My freaking great. Yeah, Bantha tracks. Bantha track. And Vader showed what he thought of the high ground, the Return of the Jedi, the whole thing. Yeah. Rancor Trainer. Rancor Trainer is the best part. Okay. He cries like a little girl, which makes me freaking laugh every single time.
Oh, it is hilarious.
Shellback, I'm with you, Shellback. Ewoks are just being territorial little bears. I don't even understand what anybody thinks.
They're just little murder bears. I mean, how would you? I mean, they would be your best friend. They probably would have your back. So it's like
after you won them over with your C-3PO.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Max needed to take like a close up with her little plushie, like a little cute little like a snuggle, like, and that's their thing for Happy Star Wars Day, y'all. And it'd be like that's the best part. Yes.
Yep. Yeah, you can remove the I guess whatever the cloth or something. I don't know.
You probably have to clean it, so yeah, it would keep it. Yeah, keep kids hygiene. Yeah,
but it's obviously with it being a 1983 and being definitely close to 40 years old, it's held up quite well through all the moves. So it's awesome. It was well made back in the day.
Oh yeah,
that's so cute.
So the opening sequence, where you have the setup for Jabba, it's kind of like this. What else is? Well, first off, I shouldn't skip because it was really, really cool to have the shuttle sequence and Vader, the red, all of the troopers lined up just to have Vader go, the Emperor's coming. And you're just like, oh crap, what does that mean? Then you have this massive setup with with Jabba the Hutt and where everybody is, and Han's still frozen. And it was like, I remember watching it, and I remember thinking, I am so here. This is I cannot believe this is happening. Like we're getting all of this. This is like, it was like an adrenaline IV bag of like fandom, nerddom of Star Wars love. This movie just kept hitting all the right notes at the right way. Right.
Oh, absolutely. For me, the moment where it does it for me is one of the ones with Vader, but also when 3PO and R2 are rolling up to Jabba's, and that thing sticks his eye out and then talks to him in Alien, and they're like, "What the hell?" Okay, and then it goes back in, and then I don't know why, but that one scene where they go through that to me, I remember sitting there once and I was thinking, that feels like Star Wars. That's when I realized Star Wars had a very quintessential feel to it. It had a feel, it had a look. There was nothing else on the planet like it. And then from that moment on, even though Empire is technically my favorite, Return of the Jedi is the most colorful. It is the most fun. It is the most satisfactory in a way because of the way it ties everything together.
Yeah, and see, Return of the Jedi is actually my least favorite of the original trilogy. I love all three of them, but it falls at the bottom for me. I still love it, but it's bottom of the list.
Oh yeah, they're all good. They're all good.
Empire Strikes Back is just, to me, that is one of the handful of movies that is a perfect movie. Empire Strikes Back is one of the few, in my eyes, that's a perfect movie. But I am a Sith, so.
Yeah, we get it. Nos, I couldn't agree more. When he walks in, he's got a black cloak. He's force choking Gamorrean guards. He's going in there, totally kicking butt and taking names. They throw him in a Rancor pit. He's taken down a Rancor, and then, quote, gets captured. And you're just like, but really, that sail barge scene, when you see the first green lightsaber, Boba Fett's in action. My goodness. Oh.
And that's such a great entrance to Luke as a character, showing true character development. Like, because in the previous movie, we see him, of course, the previous two movies, but we definitely see his training and his struggles with that in Empire. But then seeing him walk into the palace and own the place with his level of training, it's like, whoa, we have arrived.
And have fully accepted and became a Jedi.
Yes.
It was epic.
Yeah,
It was
accepted
really
that
epic.
responsibility. Now, have you guys seen like the deleted scene just that came before that with him assembling his lightsaber? Yeah, making his lightsaber. That is really neat. That's really cool. That would have been interesting to see.
Yeah,
Bobby's saying it too. Hides it in R2. I actually will say this though. I know, hot take or not. You guys decide. You guys in chat will tell me. Hot take. I'm glad there's not that scene got deleted, because the element of surprise of that it's in R2 and that's how they're going to get out of it. Because they have a little bit of setup. You see it right before it happens, but up until that moment, you're not quite sure. Luke's talking some smack. Some smack. Like, listen, this is your last chance or die. And you're like, dude, what? Like, you don't quite know. Then you see the lightsabers in R2. You're like, oh man, that is so good. And then at the moment that happens, then boom, you're in action again. If they had shown the building and put it in, you would have almost known too much. You almost like wouldn't have that little emotional roller coaster moment. This might hot, hot take or not. I don't know.
That's a good point. Because it does take you on that journey. It really does. You're like, what are they going to do here?
Yeah. And then something that I love, because y'all know I absolutely adore and love, best writing of any Star Wars, in my opinion, is the Clone Wars. When in the one episode where they are going to rescue Ahsoka's people from the slave traders, and they mimic that scene where Anakin and Obi-Wan are down in the pit, not a pit, but it's a pit of like a coliseum in the center of the coliseum. And then Anakin says to Obi-Wan, yeah, I guess I have to save your butt again. And they have their little banter, and then they look up at R2, and poof, there goes the lightsabers.
Yes.
Right out of R2.
Yes.
That scene always brings me back to Return of the Jedi. Every time I see that scene, I'm like, yeah, that's paying homage to Return of the Jedi. It's great. There's so many different things in Clone Wars for me that do that bring you back, pay homage to the 3 original movies.
Right.
It's wonderful.
I agree.
Matt, that's a good point. Matt's bringing up a good compromise.
Go ahead, Pop.
I'm just saying you could see him maybe working on the lightsaber, but then you have him fiddle with R2 like he's doing the message thing, like going back to the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I could take that as a compromise, but the way it played out in real time, again, being a kid, it was perfect for me. I don't have any regrets with that. I think the emotional roller coaster it puts you on is just enough because it's just enough. It's just enough. So
yeah.
Salacious Crumb is now the best character. So yes, Nos on a roller coaster.
Nos would say that.
I'm going to write it down. Nos. It was Watto, it was Rancor, Trainer, and now it is Salacious Crumb.
He likes the most obscure.
I'm gonna go best Star Wars character ? And start running through these different obscure characters that Nos would want me to talk about.
That's the one thing. What I liked about the Clone Wars 2, Arlena, is that it did make callbacks to the OG Star Wars a lot.
It absolutely did.
I liked that because it's like, oh man, that's so cool. It's like,
and what's crazy is when you think about it, the Clone Wars is supposed to predate the original trilogy because all that is happening beforehand.
Right.
But because we know how things came about, it calls back to that, and that's the genius to me of George Lucas and his writing, because he was the one that did Clone Wars except for season 7. But they had pretty much written everything all the way through the end anyway.
Yeah.
But I was so glad to see it finished up. There was some things in the last season I didn't like, but there's so many things that call back to the originals and pay homage to them, and I so appreciated that, and I just loved it, especially the ones that did the callbacks to Empire, with Empire being my favorite. When you get the little scenes of Anakin and you hear the music foreshadowing, the Imperial March, and it is just little things like that. It's like, yes, I know that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Clone Wars single-handedly turned my opinion to appreciate Anakin. Because I just could not stand Anakin from the prequels. I couldn't get it. He was whiny. He was fussy. I'm like, just go on and do what you're going to do. It just horrible. And then watching the Clone Wars again with those nods to the originals. And then that one scene, and Arlena just touched on it, that one scene where you see Anakin and then you see the shadow, you see Vader's helmet behind him. And then you hear that Imperial music. It just... right there and then I realized how far he had fallen, and I had really grown to love that character watching Clone Wars.
Yeah, and it's like you were talking this morning, Pops, with Loki. I'm sorry, I know we're getting off.
You're fine. We're driving around Star Wars.
We're geeking out.
We're driving over Star Wars. We're doing just fine.
But it's like y'all were talking about this morning, in Revenge of the Sith, when Obi-Wan tells Anakin, "You are my brother, Anakin, and I loved you." That scene in and of itself is heartbreaking and heart-wrenching. But when you see the Clone Wars and you see what they were talking about in the movie about how their relationship was, you really didn't get to see that in the movies, but then you see it in the Clone Wars, how close they really were. That scene just becomes so much more heartbreaking and
Oh, it
so
does.
much more heart-wrenching, and it just I tear up every time I see it.
It
Since
absolutely does.
watching the Clone Wars. Yeah.
Because before watching the prequels, I just couldn't wait for him to stop being Anakin and start being Vader. I'm like, let's get to Vader. After seeing Clone Wars, I can't watch the prequels now without referencing back to Clone Wars and my heart breaking for them both. And I've never had that all my life. Just couldn't stand Anakin. Now I mourn for him, and I'm joyful when he's redeemed. I'm happy about it now. He doesn't have to just be Vader to make me happy, you know.
And then it also brings to full circle the prequels in the end when Padme says there's still good in him. You know, Return of the Jedi brings that full circle.
Yep.
Yeah.
With
you know,
Luke.
Padme wasn't around. You know, in a sense, Obi-Wan was around and he taught Luke everything, and Luke had it in him to know, yeah, there is still good in him, and I can redeem him. It's such a wonderful and you know, Pops, throughout the day, I was also thinking about this because I had said in the chat, I was like, well, maybe Lord of the Rings, but then I sat and thought about it, and it's like, yeah, Lord of the Rings is big and it has a big footprint, but you and Loki were right when you said there's not been another one like Star Wars because you got everything from video games to board games to trivia games, and then it goes to breakfast cereals and macaroni and cheese. You know, they
Keep
on
going.
sodas.
It saved Marvel
Everything.
and comic books. It saved Legos. Lucasfilm become $1 billion industry because of all of this. I mean, it's just like, and I gotta know, this is a horrible anecdotal litmus test. I've been to 1 million Comic-Cons and stuff. Go to one. How much Lord of the Rings cosplay is there? How much Star Wars cosplay is there?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's permeated into our culture. Like
it is
like a natural thing.
It's got everything wrapped in a bow of hope. That's what I you know, kind of
hope.
It's a bow. It's a bow of hope because it's got adventure. It's got stakes. It's got nasty villains. It's got you wouldn't say world building, you say galaxy building. In this case, you've got heroism, you've got good versus evil, you've got all of these different factors in it, all wrapped up in a bow of hope. Just because things, I mean, even when you talk about stuff like in the Knights of the Old Republic era and all that kind of stuff, where things were not looking so hot for a lot of the galaxy even back then, it's like the whole point of the stories of that Lucas told with his IP of Star Wars is that you never really got the sense of, I mean, you were always on the edge of your seat, like, oh my gosh, our hero's gonna make it, who's gonna die next, who's gonna end up being triumphant in the end. And there's always still that little glimmer of hope. And it's just amazing how he culminated that into Luke. Of here he is facing the Emperor and his father, a notorious villain in the galaxy, and just decides to take hope to a whole new level and put it on the table and say, take it, Dad.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just that is literally the fate of the galaxy in his decision to do that, instead of just going outright Sith on that. So it's amazing how it all culminates. You look at the history of Star Wars. I don't know all of it, I'm not a lore expert, but it's like when you read on this stuff and how much has gone on in the galaxy itself, and then up to that moment, it's like, oh my gosh, it's very overwhelming.
Where people feared to even say Vader's name.
Yes.
They wouldn't even say, they were so fearful of Darth Vader, they wouldn't even say his name.
I know.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was a little bit more of that at times, and some of the violence that we get, but it's not enough. And when we get back to chat, because chat's crazy, by the way. So now we've added giant toad outside of Jabba's palace to the list.
Oh.
And then And then Nos almost lose his geek card because he just calls her the Twi'lek dancer outside of Jabba's palace.
Nos, you're ejected.
You almost lose your card because you don't know her name is Ula.
Nos, you're ejected. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You're...
And Ula is actually in the EU. She shows up later. So you need to kind of make sure you have all your stuff together here so you know who she is. So Clone Wars are really good.
Yep.
Giant Toad, not too bad. Yeah, a little bit of love there. Shield Wall's hanging out. Awesome. Anakin making comments about the sand. I got it. Yeah. Clone Wars flushed out those prequels. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Max, listen, you can't diss on Max Rebo. I actually like Max Rebo.
Nos, look what you started. You bad vampire.
So Max Rebo has been separated from his little piano thing in the action figure stuff. I don't know which. Both boxes. It's been too much for me today. I'm getting too old. I put it somewhere, and I have the keyboard. But I don't have Meet Max in the little keyboard. I love the job of the musician part. So, yeah, AC is massive, huge into that.
That's awesome, Angry Canadian. Yeah, I like the Clone Wars too.
Oh,
Gord.
It's my
Gord.
favorite.
That's a low blow, Gord. You behave now.
That is hilarious.
Let's keep things positive around here. Be careful now.
Don't you start that crap.
I'm going to have someone work on the poster for this, Max, the Bow of Hope and Ewok Adventures of Wicket. Yeah. All right. So,
but it can't be the Wicket from the movie. It has to be the Wicket that she has.
Yeah. It's
on
just
the
a
poster.
Little. Eject Max. There's no ejecting Max. It will kick you out.
I'm gonna eject Nos for starting this little battle in chat and not knowing Ula. Come on.
Yeah, Ula, you're out. Vader was original Voldemort. Yeah, you've been Nos has been
true.
exposed. Yes, Ula. Ula was pretty exposed. Yes, Ula also lives in a galaxy where women do not have undergarments consistently. So yes. Yes.
There's no bras in space.
No, Carrie talks about it regularly, by the way. She's like, I guess not. So
and can I add in real quick?
Sure.
I said it in the chat this morning, but it was missed. Carrie Fisher finally got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Good.
But they gave it to her on May 4th, which I think is kind of an insult. It should have been today. If they were going to give it to her, it should have been today because she was in the original 3 movies, a big part of the originals. And it's May 25th. It just holds a special place.
Yeah, and that was the first appearance on May 25th in Star Wars.
So, I mean, just my opinion, y'all.
It would have been nice.
It would have been so much more. To me, it just would have been so much more grand if it would have been May 25th.
It would have been helpful to help bridge the gap between, not just the older generations and those of us who grew up with it, but also with newer fans to be able to highlight May the 25th. But
you're driving close. We're driving close to the animosity in the open room.
I'm not going to go down that road.
I'm
just saying bridging the gap, but it would have been nice. But at least she finally got her a Hollywood star.
Finally. It took long enough. She should have had one. When I found out she didn't have, I was shocked. I was like, I swear, I thought Carrie Fisher had a star. I didn't
we know. Gord. We know.
Both
we know
Hamill
Gord.
and Ford have stars.
Yeah.
So both of them have stars. So she was the only one of the original cast who hadn't had one yet.
Yeah, I think so.
And she had done a lot more movies and everything than
Mark Hamill had, for sure.
Than Mark Hamill.
Oh
had.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
she was in Blues Brothers, and
she's been in oh my gosh,
she's been in a lot of iconic
Sleepless
movies.
in Seattle, wasn't it? Sleepless in Seattle.
Yes, Sleepless.
And let's face it, if nobody had ever known any of her other films or seen her in any of that, worldwide, everyone knows Princess Leia.
Yeah.
It is become such a fabric of of our lives.
When Harry Met Sally
all over the world.
When Harry Met Sally, that's when I was thinking of. But
I just
crying
realized
out loud, for crying out loud, they made a freaking blow up doll of Princess Leia. Is there a blow up doll of Han Solo or Luke Skywalker?
I wouldn't know.
No.
We're not doing blow up doll conversations on this channel.
I'm just saying.
Y'all can save that for Daryl in the vac tube, baby. We're not doing. Because next thing you know, there's going to be a Chewbacca one that actually exists, and that's going to take us down a whole different rabbit hole.
there is a Chewbacca Lego
with that. That's as far as I'm going with that, Pops. But my point is, she is just as iconic as the other two, if not more so.
Absolutely.
And she just now, after she's already passed, that's the whole thing. Oh my god!
This is Arlena's fault. Just so you guys know what she's done in the chat.
Well, I'm not looking it up. That's for sure. That's one thing I do not care about.
This is how they go. This is how they go. This is how it all goes.
Oh my god!
See, Gap knows. Stay on target. Stay on target. Yeah, let's talk about Target. But let's go back to the movie for a minute because I want to touch on.
Okay.
So the element works in two phases. The first one is right after, we go to Dagobah. And we kind of we got to bring everybody back together, right? So we have to have the Mon Mothma meeting, the strategy session of what they're going to do. They explain the indoor battle to us. Mm-hmm. And then we have it again right before the battle with Lando's in a ship and whatever. We get snippets, little pieces of the aliens and all of the stuff that makes all of this so perfect, right? Admiral Akbar, Nien Nunb. We get all these different elements that paint the aliens and the humans and all the rebellion elements that all work together so great.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jedi found a way to, and I know this is almost like a leap, but for me, especially as a kid, it kind of was a callback to the Cantina part. It was a callback to the aliens. It was a callback to, who's this co-pilot guy? Who's Nien Nunb, right? We didn't know who he was. We didn't even know. We just knew. I don't even know that his name is ever spoken in the movie. It's one of those action figure things where they just made up Hammerhead and Walrus Man and whatever. We didn't, they didn't have, that was just the names. They just, grab masks out of Rick Baker's studio. I love the fact that all happened. And I know that seems almost like a very superficial positive for something like this because there's so many other things that we could talk about. But it's almost like that element of world building is sort of like a lost art. Like we just don't do that anymore. We don't always think about, Admiral Akbar's here. That means there's other Admiral Akbars running around. It means there's a planet of these people. They have a history. Why are they part of the rebellion? Like that's the rabbit hole you create when you do things like this. That is like a dead art now. Am I right?
Yeah.
I think so. And I think though, and again, this kind of I know Star Trek set one sort of precedent for sci-fi.
It's part of it for sure.
Star Wars took it globally. Star Wars took it out of the niche, with sci-fi being niche, and it made it appealing to the masses.
Yes.
It made it seem like real life just down the road. And everything what you were talking about there, just it's God, what is the word I'm looking for?
It went global, y'all.
It did. I mean, yes. Oh, okay. I know where I was going. Yes. I just say global out my head. But the point is, it has had such an impact, not just on us as being entertained, but also in the field of entertainment.
Yeah.
It has kind of set the standard for sci-fi, and it is the trope at this point. And when you see things that do that, when you see, like, I think of Babylon 5 is a sci-fi show that very much took that. Let's look at these aliens. Let's look at their worlds. Let's look at their culture. Let's look at their history. And I do think a lot of that started with Star Wars for mainstream science fiction. That very thing you were talking about.
I agree. I think this is not
for good sci-fi. Yeah.
This is not by any means a horrible comparison, but I kind of make it a comparison to, it's not in the same level as Lord of the Rings, but it's Lord of the Rings in space in a way. Because there's a lot of, there's magic, the Force. There is, there's lightsabers, there are knights. So it's like a lot of medieval elements of chivalry and heroism and adventure and villains and good versus evil. And, everybody says it's a space opera. I think it's so much more than that. I think there's so much more to that in terms of, it's more sci-fantasy, more so than science fiction, because it doesn't really, like, Star Trek dabbles in more of the science element of space and exploration and everything.
Yes.
For me, this is more like Lord of the Rings in space, where there's a lot of fantasy elements, and maybe that's why it became far more appealing. Nothing wrong against Star Trek, because I like Star Trek.
Oh no, I agree. But but at the time it was very niche.
Yeah,
Star
exactly.
Wars has never been niche ever.
Yes.
So
it definitely touched a lot of people's hearts and souls. Especially because it came out in the late 70s where things were not so hot in the world.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So it's like the perfect storm of kind of everything you guys are saying. And it really, really, I know this is so superficial. It's not just great. It's not just the movie was just great. It also changed the dynamics, right? It was the science fiction film that showed a world where everything was all dingy and broken and beaten. It gave it history just by looking at a Millennium Falcon. You know, that thing has been through some stuff. They talked about things without explaining it. In Empire, we learned it belonged to Lando and it was a card game, and none of this stuff's being explained to us, right? When you
even the
couple
discrimination against droids, and we find that out more in prequels and the Clone Wars. So it's like
So then you get all of this merchandising stuff. You capture the imagination of a generation of kids that are thirsty for some sort of escapism, adults that want to find a way to escape from the doldrums of the world they're in right now with the economy and politics and all this kind of stuff. Because remember, we're in the middle of like Iranian crisis for the global economy. You got all sorts of things that are happening. And then you have this demand issue over how to entertain the kids, like giving them the stuff. So it become like mania that kept it on everyone's thought and mind for literal years. Because it was like there was nothing, right? So we had comic books and cards, and it took a while, but we didn't have action figures. Then when we get action figures, it becomes a year-long thing of action figures that culminates at Christmas of '78, which all it does is create a new release of stuff coming that sets up the fact that we're going to have Empire Strikes Back and reset the clock. It all happens again. So all of this kind of, it creates this snowball going down the mountain of this avalanche. And it's not ever to say it's better than Trek, like a one-to-one story. That's not what we ever mean. It's this cultural phenomenon that was this perfect storm of all of it at one time. Lord of the Rings is by far practically a better trilogy of movie. Like the quality of all three films are 3 Oscar-level films with, it deserves more than it earned. Star Wars technically it's not quite as good maybe on the quality of that. But then what it does as a franchise by adding more movies and all, it is completely different kind of footprint.
Yep.
And I will say too, Trek is what, and Trek was never, and I know you guys are a lot more into Trek than I am, and that is the fact that it didn't have this kind of appeal for kids as much. They only had like Mego size action figures. They didn't have like,
I agree.
Yes, there were lunch boxes, but there wasn't like coloring books, and it just wasn't juvenile enough for us in the same way it was for like my mom. We watched 5 o'clock every night. We were watching original series. It was our routine in my house. Mom's a Trekkie, but it was mom's thing more than it was my thing. Even when the movie started, I was like really enjoying these. This is great, but not to the level of, Mom, on my Christmas list, I want a Captain Kirk, and I want this play set. And some of those things would come along from time to time, but not like Star Wars.
Yeah, I didn't fall in love with Trek until I was an adult.
Yeah, that's when I started.
But then I could relate. Yeah, I could relate to it. Then when I was a kid, I was like, "What is this?" I could relate to it. But Star Wars, it appeals to all ages.
It's generational.
It really is.
It's generational experience where everybody can feel like they gain something from it. Kids can gain from something from it.
It's a timeless story. It really is a timeless story.
Well, think of the 3 big IPs right now. You've got Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter. What is the one thread that those things have in common besides good, solid story?
Escapism.
Yeah, and there's something good it's right in Lord of the Rings. There's something good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. That is the overall theme of each one of these IPs and their main character.
The hope.
Yeah, hope. There's good in the world. Let's fight for it. Let's not sit back and cry and whine and go in our safe space.
And
let's band together and do something about it. Let's change our fate. Let's change our destiny.
And that's kind of what, like, in a way, to bring it back to Luke, and wanted to change the destiny of his father because he had hope in his father.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And look, he started out wanting to change his own destiny.
Yep.
Young, naive, whiny, kind of selfish
He
little
was
kid, not knowing squat
selfish.
about the world. He
Yeah.
wanted to change his own destiny. He met Kenobi, boom.
All of a
Then he
sudden.
became a Jedi, and he's wanting to change his father's destiny. He's wanting to change the rebellion's destiny.
Yeah.
Instead of serving his,
right?
Yeah. Instead of serving himself, he ended
Yeah.
up serving others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, that common theme in those three
Mhm.
IPs. That's why they stand the test of time. That's why
Mhm.
they're so beloved. And they've got good individual stories wrapped up around that theme. You can't go wrong with that. And it blows my mind that is a dying art. It is a dying art.
That's true. That's true.
And to appeal to all ages. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely wanted to add to kind of what you guys were saying too, because you were talking about some of the fantasy elements or whatever. But part of it, remember, was that element of, Eastern religions, mysticism, the samurai culture, all those kinds of elements as well. So you have so many dynamics that are so, it takes away from it being just a superficial sci-fi film. And you get this because I play these news reports of the course of today, and even leading into this, is these people were saying the same things about, oh, there's no real depth there, and there's no real morals and whatever. Like, you clearly haven't watched any of these movies.
Wow. No kidding.
Clearly.
It's hysterical. It just makes your head,
Yeah, I heard them earlier while listening in chat, and I'm like, "What in the world?"
Yeah,
wow,
it's completely nuts. But the Return of the Jedi report sounds exactly like the New Hope. It's like, it was so crazy. Like, oh my gosh, you guys are completely buffoons. So,
I mean, that hasn't changed, but yeah,
no, that has not changed.
How can you? Okay, seriously, how can you watch one of these films and not see the morality taught, and not see the bigger picture, and not
because
see
they have no morals.
Yes.
If you have no morals, you can't distinguish what are morals.
Fair enough. They have no baseline then.
Well,
okay,
and
fair. That's the only way I could accept it, because I'm like, I don't see how you can do it otherwise.
Thank you, Shellback. Thank you, Shellback. You broke the tension in the room. That's fine. That's fine.
Well,
So
and
listen, I don't want to go ahead. Nope.
I
Go
just
ahead.
I think it's also like we talk about the spirituality aspect of it, regardless of what you believed in as us as human beings watching this movie. You realize that there's something bigger than yourself too. And that also, I think, helps elevate it. And if people can't understand that concept, then you're right, they don't have any morality.
Yeah.
Right.
And not only that, but for me, okay, I was raised in the generation X, where none of us looked at color. And when you saw these on the screen, you saw all these different aliens that and they weren't black or white, they were aliens, they were green, they were purple, they were blue, all this different diversity, and all the aliens were different species. And it was just an introduction for me at a very young age of the differences of everyone, but they're all coming together.
Yeah.
So it dives deep into,
Admiral
it
Akbar.
gets you to look at different ways to view things.
Yeah.
And it took what had come before it with the Flash Gordon and the Star Trek to kind of like bring all that into a new way, a new delivery system, a new universe and galaxy that he created for that. So
yes.
But listen, I don't want to get too much further because we have to take a quick pause, if nothing else, and play our game. So we need to give away. There are two, guys. There's two. I got the stickers on them. I got my notes here. Probably may have just shown somebody. I don't even know. All right, so two to give away. One I'll open, and one I'll send you whatever. So we're gonna give them both away. Here we go. Let's do Leia first. You guys have to let's put the numbers where they go. Here we go. Okay, so the Princess Leia pack, I will not open. I'll just mail it to you. Pick a number between 1 and 100. Closest without going over. Price is Right rules. Arwyn can start the clock. We'll give him a couple minutes, and we'll do that. And then I will click on some fun stuff because Nas is trolling Loki in the chat. Loki showed up in chat. Next thing you know, this is what happens when you're in my chat. The Loki's Ardos goes up. There you go.
Nas.
Oh, we got 46.
46. See, you got to roll. We got to mail them to you. So, yeah. The other one I'm going to open. The Lando one I'm going to open, show everybody the cards and stuff. And then I'm going to keep the gum. And then on the stream that follows this, Yes, I will Padawan challenge it up. We'll go from there. So yes, we'll do that. Wow, look at them go. Jacob, Shellback, Whitechapel, Gord.
I'm trying to log on to my phone.
So yeah, I've got the time.
I can put
you
a
did
number
it,
on.
Did you want it for 2 minutes?
I don't know, just a couple minutes. We're fine. We got plenty of time to do it. It's real quick. So,
okay.
All right, come on, guys. Anybody else in chat? Anybody else in chat? Come on now, get your numbers in 1 to 100. Let's go. Let's go. Your Mags. Is
we can do it too.
Yes, do it.
Sure.
Do it.
You guys know the number.
Okay.
I didn't show. I didn't show you guys any numbers.
Nope. I didn't see no numbers, so I'm putting.
All right.
No, I didn't show anybody any numbers yet.
Nas, you need to change your number.
Shoot. Sorry, hold on. It wasn't supposed to play. What is it?
Nas, you got to pick a different one. Scott got you beat there, and I'm echoed, and someone's got me on.
Yeah, I was trying to.
Oh, you're on the phone. That's why you're trying to.
Yeah, I put my numbers in. I had paused it, and it came unpaused.
Look at Loki. Look at Loki just trolling us
I'm
off.
surprised.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised nobody has chosen. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it because that might be the number.
All right. Come on. So. Oh man, yeah, Jacob, that's crazy. Loki, just take a mental note. You can remind me on Tuesday. I have a box of cards I found, and you are not going to believe what this is. It's not Howard Duck crazy, but it's almost as crazy. Like, oh my gosh, how on earth did I end up with this? I have a Howard the Duck pack of cards, by the way, ladies. If you didn't hear that, that's freaking ridiculous. No idea how you turn your head the other way when you see something that I'm sorry. All right, let's go. Couple more seconds here. Here. All right. We're going to close that pack, the Princess Leia pack of Return of the Jedi cards. My number is 57.
Oh.
So let's scroll back and see 57. Max is 37.
God, and that number flashed
46,
in my mind.
Gap.
And I put
Gap's got 46. Anyone closer than Gap?
57, 46. It's either going to be Whitechapel or Gap because
Where's Whitechapel's number?
Whitechapel is 66.
Yeah, but we do close without going over. His price is right.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So it is.
So it's going to be Gap.
It's going to be Gap.
All right, Gap. Gap's got to email me or hit me up on Twitter. Give me that address. So the Leia pack goes to you. Now we'll do the Lando pack, but the Lando pack I'm going to open. I'm going to mail you the cards, and I'm going to mail you the wax pack, and then we're going to go through the opening process for Lando. So I have another set of numbers. So reset the clock, reset all the numbers, start from scratch again. Price is Right rules, 0 to 100 without going over. And here we go. Garbage Pail Kids. Garbage Pail Kids are at the home office. Project Cambrian. I do have a pack. They're at my home office. We can do that too. I don't think they have gum though. Just so you guys know, they don't have gum. Mags kicking it off with a 55. Here we go.
It's like we need a drum. We need like a Price is Right
timer or something. We need something cool. Yeah. Yeah. Something.
Daggone it. I keep trying to pause it and it unpauses.
I got a 38, got a 42, 22, 63, 36. Gap, you can't win again. Gap. You don't count. Can't win again. We got to share, Gap. We got to share. Shellback. Yeah, let's go. Let's get in there. Loki wants a pack. I think Loki just opened his package here recently, and I thought I sent you a pack of these. All right, let's rock and roll, baby. Getting close. Loki just wants me to freaking Padawan challenge it again. He doesn't care. He just loves the show. Let's do the crazy. What can we do to Pops? Yeah. Hey, Tim. Thanks for being a member, Tim. Yeah. Thanks again to Chris for making that happen. You surprised me, bro. I didn't even know that had happened. I look over, I'm like, what on earth has happened? So, yes. So many great new members out there. It's going to be awesome. All right. We're going to wrap this up. We got a few more seconds. 0 to 100, folks. Showback got a 44 in. There's a 19 from Arlena. 32, 44, 29. Okay, yeah, we're getting there. Showback, you got to give me a different number. Loki actually put 44 in. So you got to give me a different number, Showback. Hurry
it up, Showback.
Well, it's got a 20. Where's the Padawan? Padawanabe's probably taking a nap. He probably watched his stream. It was like over an hour long of him opening.
I know
man.
that was so fascinating watching.
Yeah, we did not scratch the surface, Max. It was like, dude, this is just the prequel stuff. Mag, I couldn't. I was like,
I know. I was highly jealous of the Clone Wars
yeah,
Yeah, me too. I've seen every episode of the Clone Wars multiple times. I'm talking. I've watched the series in its entirety at least 17 times.
Hey, Chris Persia, I see you. I see you, Chris Persia. You behave. If you're not on camera and doing it, you don't get to. No, Chris Persia. I'll pull it. I'm going to get Mexican Iron Man up in here. No, put Chris Persia in the corner. All right, we went past we went 10 seconds over. Chris Persia, I'll take your number, but we're not counting you. Crazy
okay, so
person.
we're done.
All right, the number is 36.
36. Arwyn went over. She's 38. I'm looking.
Showback's at 21.
Nos is at 32.
32, Nos. Uh-oh.
Oh, yep. Nos got it.
Nos is the winner. Nos. Nos. Whoa. Nos. All right, Nos. Okay, ladies. Here we go. We're going to open this bad boy up. Have some fun. Let's make it a little bit easier on the camera.
All right.
And here's the wax. There's gum in there.
How do people contact you, Pops, to be able to give them?
Well, my email's usually in every description, and
Okay.
obviously on Twitter there's a DM option there. And if I don't hear from them in a few days, then I usually start tracking them down. So I've never run into. I actually had one person like I had no way of contacting them, and it took me like forever to figure out how to get in contact with them. I actually had to just kind of message them on a live stream or something like that, but. I don't think I ever want to be the channel where I have so many people that I can't manage something like this. So that's kind of a fear of mine. I guess you have to have staff when you get that big, right? It's the point of the X-ray girls and whatever in this whole universe that we have. So these are the blue cards. And there you go. Try to be as careful as I can. Here's the cards. The gum broke. So there's 2 pieces of gum in here. Here's your gum.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
So it's probably disintegrating in your hand.
Oh, it's
No,
so pale. It's not even pink
it's-
anymore.
No, it's not pink. It's mostly
Oh,
white.
wow.
And it's like crystals. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Mags. Maybe Nos will share this with you, or he'll send you one. I don't think I have any. Right off the bat, there you go. You have Leia with Wicket.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. Leia as Bosch. All right. Oh, Nos, you're loving life, man. Look at you got Jabba Palace stuff going on here, buddy. Right up your alley.
Yes.
3PO is the god, all right? Oh, Max, look, we got Village of the Ewoks.
There we go.
Love,
Yes.
right? I want to switch the stickers in here, so we rotate the sticker to last because stickers are always fun. Nice cast group there. Oh, even better.
Really
Look at this. This is a nice call. Let me see the center. Top to bottom's a little off, but that's a nice group with the trilogy there. Yeah, triumphant. All right, you got to get a spaceship. This is the headquarters frigate. Frigate is one of those words that's not a profane word, but sounds like it is. And I don't know. There you go. There's this guy.
Wow.
I don't even
Monstrous
know what that
guest.
is.
Is that what it says? I couldn't read it.
A monstrous guest. Yes.
That is definitely not. That's Nos written all over it.
And then Lando, nice close up.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that's nice. And then the sticker is a very nice sticker indeed. A nice Chewbacca sticker.
Chewie.
Very nice. Very nice. So Nos, these will go out to you. You set these aside. I will set the gum and the wrapper
Awesome.
aside for the next thing. All right. Well, that was pretty fun. That was good. We got about 15 minutes or so. We were all just under 15 minutes. I don't know what happened to Daryl. Poor Daryl. We'll be thinking about you, buddy, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're okay. You didn't have like
missed you,
something in the rain.
Bosley.
We got crazy weather here, so Daryl will be more happy to have you anytime, brother. We'll do this again. But listen, any last thoughts? Let's go around the horn. Arwyn, last thoughts on Jedi. Any other little thoughts? Something else we wanted to mention or get in there real quick?
No, it's just of course it's not it's not a perfect movie, but wow, it is a fantastic movie. And it makes me feel good when at the end of it that I've watched the whole trilogy. It makes me feel like my time was worth spent and invested with characters I truly care about. And I think at the end of the day, isn't that what entertainment is about?
Yeah,
To make you feel a certain kind of way, to make you love and cry and and grieve with these characters and mourn and all these things. So yeah, it will always be one of my favorite sci-fi trilogies, and this particular movie really made me kick in on, this is beyond something special. This is something eternal. This is something that's here to stay. So
that's good.
That kind of sums it up.
Point. Yeah. Arlena.
Oh, Return of the Jedi. I can't believe it's 40 years old. It makes me feel really old. And now, to be fair, Empire Strikes Back was the first movie that I went and seen in theaters, but I was a really little girl and I have zero memories of it. I probably slept through most of it because I was tiny. But Return of the Jedi was the first movie that I went and seen in theaters with my mom and dad, and I have vague memories of it because I was only 5. But I do have memories of it, and I just remember being in awe of seeing all this stuff on the big screen, and just wow, it was amazing. And then getting a little bit older and watching all 3 movies and just becoming instantly addicted to it, and being able to relate to Luke, and being able to relate to Leia, and seeing myself in a lot of these different characters. It was just amazing for me, and it was such an integral part of my childhood. I was picked on a lot as a little kid. So and these movies really helped me get through a lot of that. It was something for me to hold on to. And they will always hold a special place in my heart. All of them.
agreed.
Even if Return of the Jedi is my least favorite, it's still up there. It's still up there.
Yeah, the least of good or great is still really good and great. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like just because it ranks third doesn't mean that third isn't still higher than a whole lot of stuff. That's
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And when I say that, I'm saying for the original trilogy, it's my least favorite of the original trilogy.
We got you. We don't.
But
we
there's
don't
only
have to qualify.
6. There's only 6 Star Wars movies, so
We got. All right.
Bite me.
So if you haven't seen it in chat, Mags, Nas has played some sort of game here, and he's trying to forfeit his win and pass it off to you, the Irish lass. So I guess.
Okay, Nas. Thank you.
However, I'll warn you, it came with a caveat that you are slightly ahead, evidently, of Sinead O'Connor on his Irish lass list, which I have to be honest is so freaking hysterical to me. I don't even know where to begin. I just be honest.
Nas does this a lot in chats. He's great. He's really good. He's really funny.
It's beautiful. Nerf herders. Yeah, it's great stuff. That's great stuff. So, yeah, Copa came in here talking about Ewok stuff. Yeah, you're gonna go there. You know, they're eating man meat. I don't want to tell you. I'm with you, man.
These are
went
cute.
down there.
Look at that, Copa. Yo.
It was when I was a little kid.
It's brutal. So Mags, any last thoughts? Any last thoughts?
Gosh, you know, I didn't since I was born, you know, well after the movies were in theater. Probably it's not, you know, I wish I had seen them on the big screen when they would be put on big screens and everything, and it's just life and also, you know, my family living frugally. It was kind of one of those things where, you know, you just didn't get everything you wanted all the time. And that, you know, that was, I'm not complaining about that. That is life. You know, you pick and choose your battles, but probably the OG trilogy and even Return of the Jedi in general just sits in such a favorable spot in my heart because it also meant memories being made with my brothers, with my 2 older brothers. And no matter who or what corporation handles these things, you can never take those good memories away.
Yep.
And
that's right.
That is part of my childhood. I have, let me show you. This is this thing. This is Return of the Jedi, the THX version. This is pre, so it has I have to read the fine print. 1995, so it's pre-special edition.
Yeah,
and
black box
let me
stuff,
tell you, this thing probably went into the rewinder so many times. And I have and the other two movies, and it's just there was just, I don't know how to describe it, but it was just one of those things where my brothers and I enjoyed it. You know, I was a tomboy too, Arlena, and I just never quite fit in with a lot of things. And you know, I also was the type that brought Pokemon cards to class back in the day, and all the girls were talking about Titanic, and I'm like, what? I don't really care about that. It's such a great movie all around, and series in general, and capturing. That's why I say the generational experience. Your parents could love it. Your grandparents could love it. Your children could love it. And it's just captures all of that, all of those elements where children could take something from it. The adults can take something from it, and they can, but everybody feels elevated, even as a child. Like, you may not understand even some of the more adult themes that are going on in the movies. You will later in life. And it's almost like fine wine. It ages really well. And that is the mark of a true good story, is that it's not just like Arlena said, it's a timeless classic. It's also, does it continue to age and sit well and be able to have, that's why we have Shakespeare, the Odyssey, and all this other stuff. Why does that still fit in certain stories? It's because it's timeless. And it ages well like fine wine. It almost gets better with age. So, yeah.
Well, couldn't have said it better, ladies. You guys are amazing. This has been an amazing time. As always, we love hanging out together and doing this kind of thing. Chat, you were crazy. You were on fire. Love all you guys. We have to take a little break, but I will be live. You'll have to kind of leave this and go to a different video to pick us up. Matt, Accommodate will be there, but that will be an open mic as well. You'll be able to hop in and out and share some thoughts and memories and that kind of thing. But ladies, thank you again for doing this with me. It's freaking amazing to hang out with you always. Feel so blessed to go out on, guys. This is actually the intro from earlier this morning, but I think it's timely to go sort of like full circle with everything. So we're going to go out with this. You guys take care. Hopefully I will see and talk to you all soon.
It's a fairy tale. It's sweet, and it's a swashbuckler.
Basically, 3 or 4 years ago when we were preparing American Graffiti, we were sitting around looking in the newspaper one night to see what to go see, and there wasn't anything. And said, gee, wouldn't it be great to be able to go see a John Carter or a Flash Gordon kind of movie? That was really the basis for it. But I'd like to do another one or more. It just really, cost is the critical factor because it drives you crazy.
The film is breaking attendance records all over the country. Not since Jaws have so many people stood in line to see a movie.
In only 9 days, Star Wars has grossed more money than any movie in Dallas history, although the manager of the theater will not yet release the exact amount of profits. The movie is called Star Wars, and since it opened here 9 days ago, capacity crowds have filled the 1,100 seats in the theater almost daily.
The first of what the makers of Star Wars hope will be thousands of queues started forming at 7 a.m. outside London's Dominion Cinema.
What is the attraction of Star Wars? Who can say? There have been lavish spectaculars before. Perhaps it's because this one takes the best from all the rest. Colour, breathless excitement, fantasy.
The prestige of being able to say you've seen Star Wars is something akin to royalty, really.
In America, more money was taken at box offices in 1 week than for the prestigious Jaws.
A cowboy movie set in space. That's Star Wars. It's old-fashioned, escapist entertainment, pure and simple, with no moral, no message.